Some people are much more comfortable with the struggle version of you. Hello, and welcome to this YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I know you are too, because you are consuming content like this. The name of this lovely channel is Holistic Manifesting, because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives we are choosing. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and welcome back if you've already watched my videos and you enjoy what this crazy lady has to say, because I got something good today. Some people are comfortable. They're more comfortable with the struggle version of you than the version of you that can see your beauty, the version of you that's not broken, and the version of you that is emotionally stable. So in other words, they prefer the broken version. They prefer the version that has low self-worth and low self-esteem. And they prefer the version that is emotionally unstable and always needs somebody to pick them up off the floor and off the ground and all this sort of thing. Have you ever been around people and they can't help but to always reminisce on the big connection that you all had back in the day? And you already know that that version of you was kind of like the worst versions of you that existed. You're not angry with that version of you. You respect and appreciate and you thank that version of you because it got you to where you are now, right? But you know that that version of you and how they experienced you in that moment was not at your greatest expanded mindset. It was not at your greatest spiritual awakened state of living. You know what I mean? And so what I notice is that when people are always going back to that, oh, we were so close, or we used to do this and we used to do that, or we used to hang out. Remember, we used to do this and do that and hang out and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And believe me, I know it. I have people around that do that. And they talk about this old time all the time. And then you think back to who you were in that old time. I cried every other day because I was always emotionally worn out because I was letting somebody get the best of me mentally, spiritually, and all these sort of things. Just, saying anything and all kind of stuff. I also didn't see my self-worth fully, didn't see my self-esteem fully because I didn't even know what that looked like. It's not that I had it and it was just like, self-esteem sucks and threw it out the window. It wasn't even taught to me. It wasn't even displayed for me. And so I had to learn all these things as life went on, and so many of us do. I'm not even saying this is my personal. I think we all know this. This is many of our stories, right? We have to learn these things, right? And so that's why I love that the children have YouTube now, because if you come from like a crappy family that's like really negative and not giving you the best of what's valuable, a lot of times what children will do now is get online and get their self-worth and self-esteem and get their positive expansion from there. And I'm so grateful that they have it as an option, because like I told my daughter when we were growing up, it was who was around you, and that's the messages you got. Like, sincerely, that is the truth from a sociologist. That is pretty much the beginning and the end of all the sociological studies, because it talks about group dynamics and how we socialize with other people and what that means for the whole. It's always about who you are directly connected to. So when people are saying these things like they like this version of you, it's generally was a very unevolved version of you. And so when you try to connect in modern times, you try to connect it today and like, what's going on in your life now? They don't have any ability to connect with you on that level. I got people that I see all the time. It's like, oh, I want to be a better this. I want to be a better friend. I want to be, this and that. But every time I see them, or it's time to connect with them, or they could even easily just do it on a regular Tuesday. It's like, hey, how is this going for you? They take no interest in what's going on in your life, no interest in what's going on in your kid's life, no interest in what's going on in general, like nothing. But they always want to do lip service to, oh, we used to be so close. We're not anymore because we've changed. I have evolved into more beautiful and better things. So because of this, you got to meet people where they are. And I find that when people are super comfortable with you being emotionally unstable, they're super comfortable with you being broken. They're super comfortable with you thinking that you're ugly and not believing in yourself and feeling like you don't deserve anything and you're not worthy of anything. When they're super comfortable with that version of you, take stock of what that relationship actually looked like. Like, were you a mutual friend group or a mutual connection, or were you like a flunky, right? Because I can look back on many connections that I had in the past when I was growing up, when I didn't know anything yet, basically, where I was a flunky by mistake. And when I realized it, I was like, wait, this person thought I was like some kind of sidekick. No, I don't do that. And then I tried to be mutual with them and meet them where I am right now in these modern times. Crickets. Even people that I've called really good friends since high school, crickets. And because they like the idea of you cowering, being a coward and sitting back and being anxious and not showing up, in your full glory and the full version of you. They love that version of you because it made them feel better. It made them feel more special, right? It made them feel more valuable. And you'll find even sometimes too, I see this happen a lot. If there's this is on TV shows all the time too. If there's a person that somebody decided to do some kind of a makeover on, and we see those kind of TV shows a lot where it's like, oh, this is the nerd girl. She's got on her glasses, but you can tell that it's a generally attractive person just with glasses on. And then somehow she breaks out and her friend is so used to being up in front and center and getting all the compliments from people and, having people treat her a certain way and having people look at her a certain way. And then this other person outgrows that small version of herself. You would think that the person who was used to those things would be like, oh, I'm so happy now that you are expanded and grown. We can be together and we can, both talk about what we deserve together. We can both be in high self-esteem. We can both be in high value and high worth. But that's not how that's going to happen. Most of the time it's going to be, they're going to automatically start feeling like, this feels off because I'm used to being head honcho. This feels off because I'm used to being the queen bee, Like if you think about Mean Girl, something like that. Like this feels off because this person used to be like my flunky and now they don't feel like a flunky anymore. So where do I put them? And for a lot of people, they're going to put you right on out of their life. Or they're going to try to keep on pushing you in that space. And then when the clash happens, you're going to be right on out of their life anyway, right? And so when people are more comfortable with these versions of us, we just have to remember that that is not a reflection of who we are. It is not a reflection of how we're showing up. Because sometimes we can forget how far we've come with so many things. We can forget how much we've changed. We can forget how much we've expanded. We can forget how much we've grown, how much we've had a glow up and all these wonderful things. We can forget when we get around the wrong people because they'll have conversations and they'll have interactions with us that try to bring us right back to that place of being a 16-year-old again. And I'm like, sorry, not that person, not running away from that person. She was beautiful, amazing, and smart and sweet and naive all at the same time. But I'm not her anymore. I'm thankful for her because that version of me is the reason why I am this. And so you have to just keep that in mind that it's okay. It's okay for people to be used to those versions of you, but you have to make sure you keep showing up in your full version. Don't allow those conversations or just the interactions to keep pulling you back to a mindset or a space. Sometimes if I feel like I'm in a more vulnerable space, for that old programming to show up again, I don't talk to certain people because I don't want any of that icky mindset that I know that they have related to who I was or who they think I am or who they think how they think I show up in life to be on the table, because I might fall for it for a second. I might forget who I am for a second and it may become a thing, because we can't discount the programming and the way that we operated for a long time in our lives. So when we find ourselves in our full confidence and our full shine and our full light and our full expansion and our full intelligence and cleverness and all these wonderful things, we have to remember that not everybody's used to that version of you. And when they get this version of you, they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to approach it. They don't know how to act with it. And many times they may, trickle out of our lives. Or they won't ask you anything. They won't inquire about your life because they don't want to hear about the good things. They don't want to hear about how you've grown and this and that. They don't want to hear about your new connections and stuff. They don't want to hear about your new dating relationships and all that, if you're doing all that kind of stuff. They don't want to hear about the 100 pounds that you've lost and what your new routine is. They don't want to hear about your new skincare routine, is why your skin is glowing and stuff and all that so much. They don't care. They like the old broken version of you that made them feel more comfortable, that made them feel more than who they actually were. Somehow your presence in their life made them feel better about themselves. So even if they were having a rough day or they were having experiences that they didn't like, they had somebody around them that made them feel like, I'm not doing so bad because I don't let people do this to me. I don't let this happen. I don't experience that. I don't let people treat me this way, all these wonderful things. You'll see that comes into play. Sometimes we're like this cautionary tale for other people and we don't even realize it. And when we've outgrown the version of us that's the cautionary tale, we can clearly see the holes in all of those other people's armor, like the chinks in their armor. You can see it so clearly because you realize that that facade was just a shallow facade. Right? So like sometimes it's like mentors, people that you were learning things from as a kid, and people who were sharing information with you and all that when you were in your youth. And you finally hang around this mentor for a while, or you're finally in the company of this person, and you realize, I've outgrown a lot of the small versions of myself, and you start to see them for what they really are. And a lot of times it's just not pretty. And so they'll get you out of the space because they don't like the way your presence makes them feel. They don't like the way your presence validates negative things that they feel about themselves. And also it's a reminder that even if you start off as a flunky or as a person that's on low level or whatever people want to put you into, or naive or not, evolved or whatever, that you can grow. You can do the internal work. You can do the spiritual work. You can grow and glow from the inside out. And they haven't done that work. So they don't want to look at you because it's like all this time I was just basing my whole personality on being better than this person, or being in front of these people, or not having this to experience, or being in this relationship, or whatever it was they were basing it on. And you outgrown that. You've surpassed that. And so now it's not even about you. It's not even about your connection, who you are as a person and y'all's connection. It's about them not feeling as great and mighty as they did when you were in your smallest version. Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.